From making human-scale combat seem as deadly and scary as possible, to the super crispy visuals it'll have since the game is made on Unreal Engine 5, here's how ARK 2 could be the most realistic survival game yet. As a sequel to the popular game ARK Survival Evolved, ARK 2 promises to bring the most realistic man vs. wild elements ever. Given the success of the first game, it should not come as a surprise that ARK 2 will continue to be an open-world, online survival game, but this time the action in ARK 2 will only happen from a third-person view. You see, with ARK 2, the creators want to not only improve the game's story and world, but also fix and improve everything that makes an ARK game, well, an ARK game. The core playing features are the most important part of these changes. This includes the handling and movement of both humans and animals, taking ideas from automatic parkour in Assassin's Creed and climbing in Breath of the Wild. Players can now walk over the world in a more realistic and free-form way. Also, with a focus on primitive-era fighting, ARK 2 takes a lot of inspiration from Soul-style action for its human-scale combat. This includes a focus on dodging, blocking, light and heavy hits, combos, and player reaction skill, which, if you haven't noticed already, is pretty rare in the PvP survival genre. For now, it's enough to say that when you attack something with your T-Rex in ARK 2, the results are visceral. I mean, the animation of the attack actually hits the target hard, even tearing through the victim's flesh. This is obviously a lot better than the earlier gameplays where the hit just passes through a prey, and the target also physically reacts at that location to the hit, all to show the raw power of such a fierce creature. It's pretty clear that all of these features combined will make combat seem as lifelike as possible. These features don't just end there though, because Studio Wildcard has also offered component-based item crafting. What this essentially means is that you can build guns and tools from a variety of different modules to customize their look and function. In ARK Survival Evolved, the method for making things out of the different supplies isn't exactly small, but it's doable thanks to set recipes. The new version really tops that one though. With millions of possible combos, players can make their own unique gear. The look of things will also be affected by the materials they're made of, and since there are many different kinds of materials in different parts of the world, customizing your weapons in this way will also do wonders when it comes to really getting invested in the survival part of the game. Also, it's not just the appearance that'll get changed, but certain minerals, which you can only find in very specific places, will also change the way a thing works. Just imagine how much you can push the limits of individuality in this game. In the same category though, the creators realized that instead of having the in-game notes that told us about the main story around ARK Survival Evolved, it'll seem more real if they introduced an actual story throughout the game.
My dad tells stories of a terrible war that happened across the sky. Heroes fought and died to give us a chance to start over.
And that's exactly what they went for this time. Keeping in line with that, the game's story will take place after the events of Genesis Part 2 and will take place on an unknown foreign planet.
All that I know from their Earth are the creatures they sent along with us.
Studio Wildcard hasn't said much about the game's story yet, but a lot of fans have already kinda guessed from the way Genesis Part 2 ended. One of the biggest changes is that Vin Diesel is now a character in the game's story. Diesel has also joined the development team as an executive director, and will be working with Studio Wildcard to help shape the story of the game. How cool is that? This is also pretty nice for the game, since adding an actual person from the real world would also somewhat help bridge the game from fantasy to reality. While the game has made many improvements to the way characters interact, you best believe the creators have outdone themselves when it comes to the world in ARK 2. The alien world of Rat faces only two dangers. Both the plants and the animals want you dead. Still, compared to ARK 1, the world has some exciting new features, and the biggest one is probably the fact that in this world, natural and artificial tragedies happen all the time. You can hide from them or face them and earn prizes.
And here on Arat, every day is a fight to survive.
But But even when you're not in a specific area, world events will still keep on happening and still keep on affecting that part of the world. Apart from this feature, the locals of the world, aka the Aratai, are NPCs who also control dinosaurs and act on their own. They don't like you and want to kick you off of their world, so this time you have to be super careful as you go about the world. Oh, and the cherry on top is definitely the sensor-based Dino AI. This may sound strange at first, but thanks to the power of Unreal Engine 5, the animals in ARK 2 will have sensor-based AI. They can also see, smell, and hear, so you need to be better prepared for the weather during the hunt. Maybe approach a dino against the wind, and just do not make any noise. At the end of the day, the creators want you to be as scared of the creatures and environments around you the way you would be if you were actually in that world. To think so much effort has been put into the story and the environments in the game makes my head spin. But wait, because the best part about this new version is something that brings all sorts of players into the mix, and that's the fact that ARK 2 adds a revolutionary new feature for console players. That means user-made mods that can be totally stacked, even on private sites for the Xbox version of the game, all thanks to mod.io's official mod support. This means that players who use the PC version to make changes will be able to send them to the cloud and share them with all device players. With this, as we've seen with ARK on PC, everything in the game can be changed, improved, and redesigned. I mean, imagine new creatures, new game types, new maps, new guns, and new features. With the power of Unreal Engine 5, the only thing that will stop content makers is their own creativity. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see the mind-blowing additions that players will probably make to their mods and maps. And the creators are absolutely sure that this user-generated content being playable on console in ARK 2 with full cross-platform server integration will change the genre for good. With that being said, ARK 2 was supposed to have been released this year, but it has now been pushed back to the end of 2024. While we wait for the game though, the creators have given us a present on the side by revealing a remake of the original ARK, Survival Evolved, which is basically a new version of the game with a big catch. In a statement about the delay, Studio Wildcard said that the extra time helped them make everything in the game using Unreal Engine 5. To put things into perspective, ARK Survival Evolved was on Unreal Engine 4, and that game already has some pretty cool visuals. So imagine how spectacular the world is gonna look now, and even scarier. Also, instead of releasing ARK 2 this year as planned, Studio Wildcard will release ARK Survival Ascended, which is called a next-generation remaster of ARK Survival Evolved. From what I know so far, Ascended will come out in August for PlayStation 5, Windows PC, and Xbox Series X. It will have The Island, a revamped Survival of the Fittest game mode, and all of Survival Evolved's non-canon DLC maps. As Survival Ascended makes its way onto our screens though, that point will also officially mark the end of Survival Evolved. And that's all for how ARK 2 could be the most realistic survival game yet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.